Okay, so let's talk about what we are about to talk about. This coming new year, I hate to be overly like dramatic and overly like excited about it, but I'm going into it on a completely different level. In fact, I think I actually said that, and it's so very true. A very rough year dealing with anxiety and feeling sad. I'm not going to talk so in depth about my experience and just how bad it got. But I want to talk about what I've noticed in terms of the physical change, kind of working through all that and kind of seeing the rainbow on the other side. And it's crazy because you can feel like the change, right? You can feel that you're getting more energized, you're getting more excited about things, or you're doing things that you used to love that you didn't have the energy to do, but now you do. And so you're getting into all that again, and it's fun and it's exciting and all that stuff, right? Nothing for me has shown more evidence in my change than my art. I've always sketched and painted and drawn and painted. I've always painted and drawn and created things, right? For as long as I can remember. And it's crazy how less and less I was doing artistic things, hence why my YouTube could never be consistent, because whenever you wouldn't see me, I wasn't doing okay. Just keeping it real. And that kind of reflected like my art. You know, I wasn't doing it as often, and when I would do it, well, it kind of speak for itself. So I want to show you just like a couple. And I've never done this before. I've never shown you guys and really talked too much about my art and just how much of a passion that is for me. But I want to show you a couple of pieces that I did, I want to say like early last year. So here we just have, you know, this really beautiful girl. And I remember, what side was it? This side. I had accidentally dripped water on this side, and I instinctively like picked it up, and I remember it just dripping down like that. And for like a second feeling like I was watching living art, but like living art almost like you're watching a movie about yourself kind of thing. And it just felt right. A lot of times when I do my art, I will start with like a very basic concept. Sometimes I'll even just like close my eyes and just like dribble, and then I'll open my eyes and just see what I have to work with, and I kind of go off from there. And it'll change, right? The concept will change. And this one did. Like I feel like I started with the eyes, and then I wanted to learn more about like the detail in the eyes, and it just, this was the last thing I want to say that I did, that I added. And it just, like I said, just felt right in that moment. And I feel like it's incomplete. I feel like I want to add more things to it, but definitely like leave the little crocodile tears alone. And then there's this one, which it's kind of interesting because I started like, I would start these things, and then I feel like my emotions kind of started surfacing, and then I would just kind of be over it and be like, nah, like I'm over it, you know. This one, again, I started with the face and kind of started working my way out, and then it just, black had to go all up in there. Like, I don't want it to come across like if you're doing like dark twisted stuff that means that you're really kind of fucked up a little bit. Like, totally not it. Maybe sometimes that's the case, but not always. But just for me, in what I've made, it definitely reflects, when I think back when I made it, how I was feeling during that time. And it's interesting too, because the only time I would ever use black is when I was doing just a strict like charcoal piece, and all I was doing was using white and black colors. So it was interesting that I decided to use black. And then I have one more I wanted to show you guys. Let's see. see. I have so many that I have kept. This one. So again, I started with someone, and then I decided, you know, I didn't want to fill her eyes in. I wanted to kind of leave them bare and empty, and it felt empty to me, so I have it written here. I don't know if you can see, but that's an E, an M, a P, a T, and a Y. And I always want to come off as a strong person who has it together, who's happy, who's positive, who's always cup half full, especially for my kids. Especially for my kids. There's only a few people that I trust with my vulnerability, like my deep, deep, deep vulnerability. So not a lot of people know. Not a lot of people know or knew that I was going through what I was going through. And that's why, like, if you're with me, you know, it's important that you know that you're just getting this completely transformed person. And there's been things that have happened that have gotten me to this place where I feel like I've gone through the dark and to see the rainbow, and maybe I'll talk about it in a future video. But what's important is, you know, that I just feel so much more like me. It's like reconnecting with an old friend that you haven't seen in a long time. And when you're with that person, you remember certain things you enjoyed eating. You remember songs, you know, that you guys used to listen to. You just remember that feeling, right? Brings back all that stuff. That's what I'm going through right now. I feel like I'm meeting up with the old me, and she's resharing those things with me, and I'm learning and relearning and remembering all the things that I loved about myself. And a couple weeks ago, it was crazy. I was driving with my husband, and we were just driving, and he looks over at me and he says that he felt like he was with the person that he first fell in love with. That bubbly, excited, spontaneous, passionate, driven person that he first met, that he saw that again. And it felt good. It felt really good to get that reassurance. Okay, it's not just me. I'm getting back. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys, and I wanted to kind of end this on a positive note. I wanted to show you some of the things that I finished and some of the things that I recently started ever since I started sketching again. So this one is kind of cool. I started sketching this out, and I'll maybe insert a couple clips of when I first started sketching it. This is actually what I was making when I was filming that very first vlog that I did. But then I really wanted Alora to kind of put her own little touch. So I gave her a pencil, and then all this like random like linear lines throughout, those are all her. So this is a start. We're gonna see where this transforms to. And then I finished this one. I started making this, I want to say 2016, 2017, and I hadn't touched it because it just wasn't like inspiring to me anymore. Like I lost interest in it. So it was gonna kind of be like an unfinished thing, but I finished it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video here. So I had to quickly just refilm the outro because in the last like 30 seconds of what I filmed earlier, all you can hear is Alora screaming in the background because the guys were tired of watching My Little Pony and she wasn't. So I kind of got a little vulnerable in this video, and that's okay because it's my truth, and I'm proud of how far I've come. And I'm gonna have little moments where things kind of surface, and then I process it and I work through it, and you grow. And that's what life's all about. So anyway, let me go add this to the end of that clip, Hopefully it all makes sense. Okay, we'll talk soon.